Thank you so much once again. Welcome to Mental Health Mondays. Today we have Ms. Funes, and she will be discussing New Year's resolutions and mental health.
Thank you, Dr. Rogers, for the introduction. As Dr. Rogers mentioned, this presentation will be on New Year's resolutions and mental health. So before we begin, I wanted to talk about New Year's resolutions and how it could have a negative effect on mental health. I wanted to first talk to you about New Year's resolutions and where the idea comes from. So what do we know about New Year's resolutions? So let me see. Oh, how do I go back? Okay, so New Year's resolutions. We know that it's a promise you make to yourself to do something differently in New Year. These promises include eating healthy, exercising more, cutting down on social media, or quit smoking. New Year's resolutions is about making decisions to do or not to do something differently, to accomplish a personal goal or break a habit. It comes at a time when people reflect back on the past year and to make an effort to improve themselves as the new year begins. Some promises that many people make include exercising more, eating healthy, limiting time on social media, and cutting off negative things that no longer serve them or welcome positive things or activities. Sorry for the noise of my dogs. But did you know that the idea of New Year's resolutions come from 4,000 years ago? That is correct. So in fact, the Babylonians made promises to the gods to pay their debt and return any objects that they had borrowed. These promises could be considered the beginning of New Year's resolutions if the Babylonians kept to their word. Their God would have granted them a favor for the coming year. If not, they would follow out of God's favor, a place where no one wanted to be. So as we can see, the ancient Babylonians are said to have been the first people to make New Year's resolutions some 4,000 years ago. They were also the first to hold recorded celebrations in honor of the new year. Though for them, the year began not in January, but in mid-March when the crops were planted. During a massive 12-day religious festival known as Agitu, the Babylonians crowned a new king or reaffirmed their loyalty to the resigning king. Thanks. And why is this important? It is important because despite of the tradition's religious roots, New Year's resolutions today are mostly secular practice. Instead of making promises to the gods, most people make resolutions only to themselves and focus purely on self-improvement. According to recent research, surveys suggest that 45% of Americans say they usually make New Year's resolutions. Only 8% are successful in achieving their goals. And how does this affect mental health? Well, the word new in New Year puts a lot of pressure on starting over and turning a new leaf. But we must remember that you cannot just become a different person overnight. Change is a delicate and difficult process. Not to mention, if you're already suffering from a mental health issue, the pressure to complete your resolutions could lead to pain and self-harm. Instead of making resolutions that cause you stress, anxiety, or more pain, set start of the year by making resolutions that will encourage self-care. So a very small handful of number of people complete resolutions they set out at the beginning of the new year. Not being able to successfully complete goals you set for yourself can be daunting and could also set you up for a deeper mental impact than you might think. Mindfulness is key. So remember, motivation to change or improve something isn't necessarily a bad thing, but mindfulness is key. So what's the problem with New Year's resolutions, you might ask? Well, it could be that the goals you set yourself in your resolutions could be vague, unrealistic, or to appease the expectations of others. The subsequent failure to meet these goals could lead to guilt and self-loathing. Know your strengths. So make resolutions to better accommodate your mental health. Be specific with your goals and stick to your strengths. Set targets that work for you and create a healthy balance. Setting particular targets and invigorate with goals like losing weight, reading more books, or being more creative fall more into aspiration than goals. In the image above, you'll see Calvin and the Hobbes comic. Calvin and Hobbes are walking together outdoors in the snow. The first panel, Hobbes is asking Calvin, are you making any resolutions this year for the new year? And second panel, Calvin replies, yeah, I'm resolving to just wing it and see what happens. In the final panel, Hobbes replies back, so you're staying the course. And Calvin states back, I stick to my strengths. Okay. So just remember, sticking to your strengths and improving self-care is very important. SMART. So SMART goals. When you decide to set a goal for yourself, consider following the SMART steps to achieve your objectives. Make your goals specific, make your goals measurable. So SMART stands for specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-based. So to make a goal specific, the 5W questions you must consider for specific is who is involved in the goal? What do I want to accomplish? Where is this goal to be achieved? When do I want to achieve this goal? And why do I want to achieve this goal? For example, a general goal would be, I want to get in shape. A more specific goal would be, I want to obtain a gym membership at my local community center and work out 4 days a week to be healthier. And now measurable, talking about goals, the SMART goal must have criteria for measuring progress. If there's no criteria, you will not be able to determine your progress. And if you're not on track, and then if you are on track to reach your goal, to make a goal measurable, ask yourself, how many or much? How do I know if I have reached my goal? What is my indicator of progress? For example, building on specific goal above, I want to obtain a gym membership at my local community center and work out 4 days of the week to be healthier. Every week, I will aim to lose 1 pound of body fat. These are measurable goals. Now to make them attainable, the achievability of the goal should be stretched to make you feel challenged, be defined well enough that you can actually achieve it. So ask yourself, do I have the resources and capabilities to achieve this goal? If not, what am I missing? Have others done it successfully before? And then relevance. A SMART goal must be realistic, and that goal can be realistically achieved given the achievable resources and time. A SMART goal is likely realistic if you believe that it can be accomplished. Again, ask yourself if the goal is realistic and within reach. Is the goal reachable given at the time and resource? Are you able to commit to achieving the goal? A SMART goal must be time-bound in that it has to start and a finish. So if the goal is not time-constrained, there will be no sense of urgency and there's less motivation to achieve the goal. So ask yourself again, does my goal have a deadline? By when do you want to achieve this goal? Okay. Tips for goals. Here are some SMART goals: exercising for 30 minutes to an hour, reading 1 chapter of your favorite book a day, turning off your phone 1 night a week, journal about your day or the last thing on your mind, and incorporate more greens or protein to your meals if losing weight is a goal of yours. So for this year, if you want to obtain goals instead of broad resolutions, make sure to one, choose a very specific goal. Two, make a pathway to reach that goal. Three, set rewards to motivate yourself. Four, avoid tempting situations. Five, get yourself a social tribe. And last but not least, be kind to yourself. Choosing a specific goal. So making vague plans like lose weight, exercise more, or write more are goals with no teeth. They are vague plans and desires and are very easy to explain away due to how vague they are. Instead, set goals like exercising 20 minutes every day, losing 15 pounds, or write 1,000 words every day. Such goals with a certain task weightage are much more doable than vague goals. Make a pathway to reach that goal. Once you have chosen your goals, make a very detailed plan of how you will reach that goal. Having a plan and a pathway can help you visualize your progress and won't make you impatient for immediate results. That way, you will have already visualized what progress would look like for you in, say, 3 months, 5 months, 7 months, or every day, depending on what your goal is. Set rewards to motivate yourself. Setting small rewards like going for a relaxing spa upon completion of 2 months of the goal can serve as incentives to progress with the goal. You don't need to just restrict yourself to a grand prize reward for completing the goal because, for whatever reason, you could not reach that goal. It can cause a lot of self doubt and disappointment. Also, often we tend to devalue rewards that we must wait for a long time. This is known as delaying discounting. The longer it is until you will receive the reward, the less you value it. To avoid this, set up small rewards for yourself, and that way you will stay motivated throughout. The reason for this is that every time you receive a reward, your body releases dopamine, which creates a sense of pleasure. This in turn will increase productivity and motivation. As such, you can use this to your advantage by giving yourself small rewards as you work towards a bigger goal. Avoid tempting situations. In the beginning, we are learning self-control, avoiding situations that put you in the way of temptations. So if you know you have no control over how much sugar you consume, don't meet your friends at a new fancy bakery that just opened up the next door because that will just be a temptation to you. Avoid situations like these are at least in the beginning, and slowly you will enough self-control to confront your temptations in scenarios. Get yourself a social tribe. In today's social media world, it is easy to find a group of like-minded individuals interested in sharing your goals. Get yourself a social group like this. However, just as there is this bright side to having a social tribe, the pitfall is the pressure. Don't get consumed by social media and what others are doing. Remember, you have a group only for support and not comparison. And lastly, and not least, remember to be kind to yourself. You might fall or slip up, um, and accept this failure. And it accept the failure, own it, and forgive yourself. Being harsh on yourself will only do more harm. So instead, learn from what went wrong, and instead of bailing on the resolution at the end of the year, see it through until you reach the goal. And before I conclude this presentation, I wanted to share a short film to remind you that this is your journey. You are seeing, and be kind to yourself.
Happy New Year, human. This is that time where you get bombarded with everyone's shiny, sparkly, most carefully curated moments of fun. And that can stir up a giant gumbo pot of weird feelings. So I'm just popping in to remind you that your journey, regardless of what it ended up looking like in a 20-second montage, regardless of if it was filled with bumps and U-turns or the best of times or the worst of times, it matters. It's really easy to feel like a speck of dust aimlessly floating around the sun, but to your friends, to your family, me, you matter. I love you so much. This is gonna be a good year. I can feel it in my little long bones. Bye.
Thank you very much for the opportunity to provide you all with a reminder to be kind to yourselves this year and have goals to make them specific, measurable, attainable, and time-based.
Excellent, wonderful. Thank you again so much for this presentation. And yes, I love that at the end, you matter. We indeed all matter. So thank you. And we will take any questions that anybody